Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about an AEW wrestler who has quit AEW. We're also going to talk about Brock Lesnar rejecting some creative plans. And yes, we are talking about WWE breaking up a popular tag team, and it's all coming up in this video. If you were wondering how much pull Brock Lesnar has, then maybe this video will answer that for you. For those who don't know, Fightful Select recently reported that Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, all of these matches that were potentially bound to happen could have potentially happened, but Brock Lesnar actually decided that he confirmed and approved the match with Omos while rejecting the creative pitch to work with Bray Wyatt. Now, this is very interesting considering Omos and Brock Lesnar actually, the more I think about it, could potentially be something good. Crossing my fingers, hoping the best. I think Omos and Lesnar could do some cool stuff. But the idea that Brock Lesnar wouldn't work with Bray Wyatt is also very interesting. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because historically, people who have worked with Bray Wyatt typically don't end up benefiting from it at all. Most recent example, LA Knight. A lot of people are scratching their head, and I tried warning you guys about that months and months ago, but that's literally the situation that we're in. So basically, Omos was pitched as an opponent for Lesnar, and that is obviously the current plan. But Fightful Select also did mention that there is a unhinted, well, it was hinted, but it's like an unconfirmed backup plan, which hasn't been factored into creative plans. So it's going to be really interesting to see what WWE does here. But Brock Lesnar approves versing Omos. He does not approve of versing Bray Wyatt. Very, very interesting, very strange, and quite honestly, I'm kind of happy. I'd much rather have Brock versus Omos than Brock versus Bray. I don't want Brock Lesnar involved with that spooky shit. That's just kind of my opinion. But nonetheless, we're going to move on. WWE reportedly breaking up Chad Gable and Otis. Well, it's actually a very complex situation. So there's a Twitter account that is relatively new to the game, but the accuracy of their tweets have actually been pretty spot on as of late. According to Worked Wrestling, WWE have discussed separating Alpha Academy, but Otis and Chad Gable are believed to be on the fence about a split due to their close friendship. If the tag team were to go their separate ways, Gable would be pushed as a single star, while Otis would transition to a comedy role in Maximum Male Models. Now, this is really interesting because, well, for many reasons. Chad Gable, before Alpha Academy were doing all this stuff, Chad Gable was Shorty G, and Otis was part of Heavy Machinery. They came together, they got over, they've done some really good things. And what's even really crazy about this whole situation is the fact that Chad Gable and Otis, if you look on Twitter, Twitter is not the end all be all, of course, when it comes to opinions. But when you look at Twitter, a lot of people do typically get pissed that they're losing on TV. Now, the thing is, yes, I'm sure every wrestler wants to win, but the fact that they value being best friends and like they're close friends and they value what they're doing together, regardless of winning or losing, that says a lot about their character. Now, WWE, on the other hand, pushing Chad Gable as a serious single star could actually be really freaking cool. And it's about time they do it because I still get those flashbacks of Shorty G. And quite honestly, I think that was some of the worst bullshit I've ever seen on WWE television. So, look, I like Otis as well, but Otis does really well in the comedy role too. And I don't think there's actually anything wrong with the comedy role. So I don't know exactly what WWE is going to do moving forward here, but they've already started teasing Otis and Maximum Male Models in recent weeks. And honestly, the reception has actually been pretty good. The memes are starting to flood social media. And the idea of somehow putting Otis with Maxine Dupree and Mansoor and Mace, basically by putting them all together, I don't know. I think it could be somewhat fun. And, it's wrestling, it's comedy, it's, there's certain wrestlers that have serious gimmicks. There's certain wrestlers that don't. This is one of those situations where I think it's actually going to benefit everybody involved. But again, they value their friendship. That's not something that they're necessarily interested in doing. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Triple H does after all of this. But Chad Gable being a single star would be great. I think he's got to be a U.S. champion at some point or Intercontinental champion. I would not be opposed to Chad Gable, the American Olympic wrestler, the smart, whatever, like the character that they can do with him versus Gunther could be really cool as well for the IC title. So it's just something to definitely keep in mind. And guys, for our final story of today's video, we are talking about Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston has quit AEW. Now, of course, there is more to the story. So Eddie Kingston, he had his little issue in the ring with Ortiz in AEW Dynamite last night. So when you watched AEW Dynamite, you saw kind of how they were with the tag team match. And basically, AEW dropped a video. It's like an online exclusive clip. And Eddie Kingston, being interviewed by Lexi Nair, basically comes out and says he quits AEW and he pieces the hell out. Now, a lot of people are actually, shockingly, a lot of people are wondering if this is legit. And two, why? One, no, it should not be perceived as legit at all. The reason being is because Eddie Kingston is expected to be transitioning from AEW to Ring of Honor in the meantime, which, by the way, is very, very interesting when you look at who's holding championship belts in Ring of Honor. Now, I'll be doing live streams for Ring of Honor. I'll be happy to break down the show, but I have a very strong feeling that Eddie Kingston going to Ring of Honor and working Ring of Honor tells me that a championship belt is in his plans. So again, I don't think there is a scenario in which we should believe that Eddie Kingston is like on bad terms with Tony Khan. I don't think there's any sort of drama there. I know people might try to clickbait that, but I think Eddie Kingston's quitting AEW is all storytelling. It's all kayfabe as an order of a way for him to transition to Ring of Honor. Now, here's the thing. I like Eddie Kingston. I think he's great. I feel like whether this is controversial or not, I think he could be a fantastic world champion for AEW. It is clear as day, AEW has a lot of people who could be world champion. If that's the case, do move him to Ring of Honor, make him the Ring of Honor world champion, get people excited about ROH. Eddie Kingston's a draw for the internet wrestling community. Ring of Honor definitely satisfies a very, very, very hardcore audience. Why not make it happen? Plus, you know, Cesaro, Claudio, whatever you call him, he's actually holding the Ring of Honor championship. So there's a lot of things that could be really interesting there. But no, this is not a situation where there's drama between the two. There's been nothing that's been revealed. This all seems to be storytelling. Eddie Kingston quitting AEW could actually be a really good thing for Ring of Honor going forward. I just hope Tony Khan at some point kind of lets us know, like, hey, like this is the Ring of Honor roster. This is the AEW roster. Hopefully they can get to the point where that becomes very, very, very well known. But nonetheless, that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Tons of big news, tons of big rumors, tons of big stories on this channel. I'm going to talk to you guys about them on a regular basis. But don't forget, we also do live streams, and I'll be live following AEW Revolution. And I do have a second channel where I do a little bit more opinion-based content, maybe some gaming stuff, whatever it may be. Go ahead and check out that link in the description down below. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.